specifically for COVID-19, but for infectious diseases. Looking at supplies, making sure that we have adequate personal protective equipment for every health worker on the planet that needs it. We're talking about treatments and effective, safe and effective treatments for COVID-19 and for emerging respiratory pathogens. We're talking about vaccines. So there's a lot of work that needs to be done, and we need everyone to remain focused on achieving the goal at hand, which is stopping this pandemic.
We continue to urge active surveillance to ensure the virus does not rebound, especially as mass gatherings of all kinds are starting to resume in some countries. WHO fully supports equality and the global movement against racism. We reject discrimination of all kinds. We encourage all those protesting around the world to do so safely. As much as possible, keep at least 1 meter from others. Clean your hands, cover your cough, and wear a mask if you attend a protest. We remind all people to stay home if you're sick and contact a healthcare provider.
The European Union, through its Governance in Justice program, or GoJust, has provided nearly 10 million pesos to support the Philippine justice sector's response to the coronavirus disease pandemic. In a statement, Thomas Wersing, Chargé d'Affaires of EU delegation to the Philippines, said the aid package includes 3 million pesos worth of 120 multimedia tablets and different kinds of personal protective equipment supplies, which are being turned over to the Bureau of Jail Management and Penology by the GoJust in support of the Bureau's efforts to address the COVID-19 situation in detention facilities. It also implements, or complements rather, other forms of assistance provided by the EU, such as 50 million pesos in relief distributions to vulnerable communities. He also said the provision of tablets and personal protective equipment reaffirms the European Union's commitment to enable the justice sector to address the needy of the court and penitentiary systems during this pandemic. The multimedia tablets will be used to support e-Dalaw and to pilot test the hearing of criminal cases involving PDL through video conferencing in selected areas. Meanwhile, the PPE sets and disinfectants intended to protect persons deprived of liberty, or PDLs, and jail personnel from COVID-19 exposure shall be distributed to various detention centers identified as having a high population and congestion rate. The Justice Zone areas, Quezon City, Davao, Cebu, Angeles, Bacolod, and Naga City, are among those recognized to have the highest number of COVID-19 cases. BJMP Chief Jail Director Alan Iral welcomed the EU's gesture, and he said that BJMP personnel will continue working round the clock, strictly implementing health protocols and guidelines to make sure that their fellow personnel and PDLs remain protected and safe from COVID-19. The PJMP has so far reported 716 COVID-19 cases among persons deprived of liberty in 5 regions, with 167 recoveries. Maldives co-hosted an event to launch the Group of Friends to Combat Marine Plastic Pollution, and that coincided with the occasion of the World Ocean Day. Joining us from Maldives is Steffi Dewan. Hello, Steffi.
Hello, Alma.
Good afternoon from Manila.
So here's the latest updates from the island country of Maldives. Maldives co-host event at UN to combat plastic pollution. Maldives on Tuesday co-hosted an event with Norway and Antigua and Barbuda to launch the Group of Friends to combat marine plastic pollution on the occasion of World Ocean Day. The collaborative initiative was established to formulate a response at the global level to raise awareness and to advocate for action to combat marine plastic pollution. Presently, 46 member states of the United Nations, or UN, has joined the Group of Friends. Minister of Foreign Affairs Abdullah Shahid took part in the virtual event hosted in New York to launch Group of Friends and delivered remarks highlighting the importance of the oceans, especially to small island developing states, or SIDS. Noting that millions of people living in coastal areas around the world depended on the ocean for sustenance and economic growth. He raised concerns that the health of the oceans were rapidly declining due to the alarming level of increase in marine plastic pollution. Describing the COVID-19 pandemic as a wake-up call for humanity to build back better in a more sustainable manner, Shahid urged countries to increase initiatives that would highlight the need to address his urgent issues. Thus, the foreign minister called for a global response that would lead to an effective international framework to fight marine plastic pollution in the near future. In reminding the international community about the commitments of the Maldives, Shahid also reiterated the decision by President Ibrahim Mohamed Solih to phase out single-use plastics by 2023 and to fully protect 20% of Maldivian oceans in the coming years. In addition to Minister Shahid, the Prime Minister of Norway, Erna Solberg, and the Minister of Social Transformation of the Blue Economy of Antigua and Barbuda, Dean Jonas, also addressed the event today. And for the additional updates for COVID-19 case as of 6 p.m. yesterday, confirmed an additional 26 cases of COVID-19 infections in Maldives. 19 was Maldivian nationals, 7 was Bangladeshis, with a total number cases of 1,942. Alma?
All right, thank you very much, Steffi, from the beautiful island of Maldives. Thank you so much for your report.
Thank you so much, Alma. Reporting live from Maldives, this is Steffi, and we live in interesting times.
And we're about to see another beautiful scenery in Phuket, Thailand. The beaches have reopened, but authorities are warning of dangerous currents. Mary Grace Alvarez joins us live from Phuket, Thailand. Hello, Mary Grace.
Hello, Alma. Good afternoon, and good afternoon to all our viewers.
Good afternoon. Where are you? You have a very amazing background right there. Can you tell us where
Alma,
you are?
I'm here in the most popular and busiest beach in Phuket. This is the Patong Beach. And yes, you're right, regarding with the latest updates in the island, Phuket Mayor Charlem Chokebsum told the Phuket News Sister, due to the monsoon season, the waves are strong and the beach is still polluted with garbage that has washed off from the sea. Mayor explained that the municipality has prepared beach areas as best as possible, although conditions may not be as ideal as they could or should be. She also added that all visitors are welcome to Patong Beach, although stressed the monsoon season and urged visitors to follow the new normal rules. The mayor acknowledged the likelihood of new tourists coming anytime soon is remote due to Phuket International Airport remaining closed, but did stress that she has urged Patong lifeguards to be extra diligent with tourists that remain and live in the area. She explained that she has requested the lifeguards to observe water safety measures and to ensure people adhere to social distancing and face mask regulations. People must wear a face mask when they are on the beach. Also, officials will be inspecting beach chairs and any massage stations at the beach to ensure the rules are respected and implemented fully. Patong Surf Life Saving Chief Soprasong Sangchat said, the point about the fierce weather conditions brought about by the monsoon and also urged extra caution before entering the water. He also added to observe yellow and red flags and obey any instructions from lifeguards. The beach is open, however, Alma, tourists need to be careful when in the water. Vitanya Chuayan, Lifeguard Education Coordinator and International Lifeguard Supervisor and Acting President of Phuket Lifeguard Service, further stressed the point for extra caution during the monsoon season, stating the extra strong currents can be extremely dangerous. According to the source, waves reaching up to 2 meters high dumping on the beach, while deadly currents whisk swimmers away from the shore. Ms. Vitanya urged people not to enter the water at the beaches where lifeguards were not present and on duty. She also expressed concern about beaches being a potential area for the spreading of the COVID-19 disease. Group activities are therefore not encouraged. Instead, people should enjoy individual activities such as swimming, bodyboarding, surfing, jogging, and walking. Ms. Witanya added, lifeguards will do their best to avoid contact with tourists in the event they require assistance or experience difficulty when in the water, and try to help people exit the water by jet ski or with float boards to assist them to swim back to the shore. Alma, regarding with the COVID-19 situation in Phuket, last June 8, Phuket marks 14 consecutive days without new COVID-19 infection. According to Dr. Tawisin, spokesman of the CCSA, this means reopening of Phuket International Airport will be considered again if all the people follow health guidelines and statistics keeps improving. Back to you, Alma.
All right. Thank you very much, Mary Grace, for your update. So don't go swimming yet. Dangerous currents ahead. Stay
Thank
safe.
you, Alma. Reporting live from Phuket, Thailand, this is Mary Grace Alvarez, and we live in interesting times.
Meanwhile, in Vietnam, the country is considering the resumption of international flights to destinations that are only safe from destinations that are only safe from COVID-19. Joining us live from Vietnam is Chriselle Lacuna. Hello, Chriselle.
Hello, Alma. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you doing?
Yes. For the COVID update, very good. We're still in the province. All right. So for the COVID update, Vietnam reported no new case of novel coronavirus disease today. The 55th day of no community infection, with the tally still at 332 and only 15 patients remaining in treatment. So about 95% recovery rate. Let's go over the first headline. Vietnam's resumption of international flights to destinations safe from COVID-19. Vietnamese Prime Minister Nguyen Xuan Phuc has tasked the National Steering Committee for COVID-19 Prevention and Control with making a list of safe regions for the reopening of international commercial flights. Safe destinations are those where there have been no new cases of COVID-19 for at least 30 days, the Prime Minister said at a government meeting on a disease response in Hanoi on Tuesday. The Prime Minister emphasized that it is impossible for the country to remain completely closed to international flights, but the reopening has to be done carefully and with consideration for the disease safety levels in the countries or territories involved. Vietnam has barred entry to foreign nationals since March 22. With exemptions for those carrying diplomatic or official passports or entering for special economic projects who must be quarantined after entry. At Tuesday's meeting, Prime Minister Phuc also tasked the Ministry of Transport to direct the aviation sector to arrange a limited number of flights to bring experts, businessmen, and Vietnamese citizens stranded overseas to Vietnam. He asked the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to issue concrete criteria and open channels for Vietnamese citizens and foreign experts to register for a place on such flights. Since April 24, Vietnamese authorities have conducted 20 special flights to repatriate 6,000 citizens stranded abroad due to COVID-19 pandemic, according to the official Vietnam government portal news. Another headline, Vietnam finishes 23 Mekong Delta bridges funded by Japan's ODA in 8 months. The Japanese government's Official Development Assistance, or ODA, has funded the construction of 23 new bridges in the Mekong Delta of Vietnam that will help to spur transportation and trade in the region. Their construction has been finished since October last year. The Vietnamese Ministry of Transport, the bridge's main developer, in collaboration with People's Committee of Long An Province in the Mekong Delta, held the opening ceremonies of 6 of the 23 bridges on Sunday, June 7. One of them is Tan An Bridge, located on National Highway, and the other 5 bridges are part of National Highway going through Long An Province. The new bridge is hoped to alleviate congestion on the route during peak travel seasons when millions return from Ho Chi Minh City back to their hometowns in the Mekong Delta for big holidays such as Tet or the Lunar New Year. The new Tan An Bridge would ease traffic jams, continue to improve the road infrastructure connecting the Ho Chi Minh City with the Mekong provinces, and reach the remote communities bordering Cambodia. Now, Alma, this is just one of the projects of Vietnam with, of course, the assistance of Japan. And over the years, we have witnessed the success of the two countries' partnership for different infrastructure or facilities and railways projects. Alma?
Right. Thank you very much, Chriselle, for your updates. Stay safe. Stay healthy.
You too. From EBC Vietnam Bureau, this is Chriselle Yacono. We live in interesting times.
Okay, let's head on back to Thailand, this time in Bangkok. The government is considering easing entry restrictions for foreign visitors, possibly in the third or final quarter of this year, with priority given to those arriving from coronavirus-free areas. Joining us live from Bangkok is Aaron Blue Calleja. Hello, Aaron.
Hello, Alma. Good day to all of one.
Good day.
Good day, everyone. Sawadee krap. So for this news, the government is considering easing entry restrictions for foreign visitors, possibly the third or final quarter of this year, with priority given to those arriving from coronavirus-free areas, say Deputy Prime Minister Sampit Jatusrikita. He said, relaxing inbound travel restrictions is the first step in kickstarting the tourism industry, but the government has to be prudent in screening travelers and implementing an efficient tracking system to reduce the risk of second wave of infection. Mr. Sampit said, visitors from countries or areas where COVID-19 outbreaks have been contained are likely to be the first to get the green light, and that he has already raised the issue with Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha. According to Mr. Sampit, stimulating local spending and tourism are vital to kickstarting the economic recovery, especially considering the sluggish imports at the moment. The third quarter of the year starts next month. And for the COVID-19 update here in Thailand, as of today, June 10, 2020, we have additional 4 new cases, which are Thais in state quarantine who returned from abroad, a total number of 3,125 people infected, 2,981 discharged from the hospital, 86 is still in the hospital, and 58 deaths, without any additional deaths as of today. Back to you, Alma.
All right. Thank you very much, Aaron Blue, for your updates there in Thailand.
Thank you so much. And reporting from Bangkok, Thailand, this is Aaron Blue Calleja, and we live in interesting times.
And Ruby Tunawin joins us live from Kuala Lumpur, where the country is now easing some border control. That is only if cases remain at single digit. Ruby Tunawin joins us live from Kuala Lumpur. Hello, Ruby.
Hello, Alma. Good afternoon. For the latest news here in Malaysia, Health Director General Dr. Nur Hisham Abdullah announced during his daily media conference on COVID-19 yesterday that Malaysia is ready to ease restrictions on border control if daily 19 cases recorded continue to be a single digit during the recovery movement control order period from today until August 31st. Dr. Nur Hisham said the Ministry of Health was now looking into border control as the government was still strengthening the country's borders. He said the current COVID-19 infectivity rate was less than 0.3%, while daily cases were below MOH projection, which showed that the public was adhering to the SOPs. Dr. Nur Hisham said the MOH was also planning for an exit strategy and considered this period as a soft landing to enable more sectors to be opened, while at the same time make sure COVID-19 was under control. He added that even if the COVID-19 virus was in the community, the infection chain could still be broken without a vaccine if Malaysians adhere to the SOPs as well as embrace the 3 Cs of avoiding crowded, confined, and closed spaces, and the 3 Ws: wash, wear, and warn. He said Malaysia was optimistic after a few countries, like New Zealand, managed to eradicate COVID-19 without vaccine, adding that reducing the number of daily COVID-19 cases as well as keeping it a single digit or even aiming for 0 case was not impossible if everyone worked as a team. Meanwhile, after months of inactivity, tourism players are now ready to open the doors again with the hope that the Recovery Movement Control Order will live up to its name. Malaysian Association of Hotels Chief Executive Officer Yap Lip Sang says the June 10 commencement of the next phase of the MCO will be significant for the tourism sector as it signals the beginning of the recovery of domestic tourism. He said Malaysian hotels are ready to receive and serve guests, and SOPs has always been part and parcel of hotel operations. On Sunday, Prime Minister Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin announced that the domestic tourism sector could resume operations beginning today during the recovery MCO phase. Muhyiddin also announced that interstate travel would be allowed. Malaysian Association of Tour and Travel Agents President Datuk Tan Kok Liang said its members were prepared to accept bookings, noting that they had started working a month ago together with the hotels on health and safety protocols. Tan hoped that the domestic travel market would restart with government servants and their families starting to travel, as well as people utilizing travel vouchers given by the government. Federation of Chinese Associations Malaysia President Tan Sri Goh Tian Chuan hoped that the rollout of various tax incentives for the tourism sector that were announced in the short-term economic recovery plan last Friday could be accelerated to spur domestic tourism. In other news, Bangladesh Foreign Minister A.K. Abdul Momen told Anadolu Agency yesterday it would refuse to take back 269 Rohingya refugees detained by the Malaysian Coast Guard while they were adrift on a damaged boat, adding that Bangladesh is neither obligated nor in a position to take any more Rohingya. Malaysia on Monday detained 269 Rohingya refugees and found a dead body on a damaged boat off the resort island of Langkawi. Later on Tuesday, the country's defense minister, Ismail Sabri Yaakob, told local media that Malaysia's foreign ministry would ask Dhaka to take back the refugees if they were found to have fled camps in Bangladesh southeastern district of Cox's Bazar, home to more than 1 million Rohingya refugees. In reply to a written inquiry from Anadolu Agency over the issue, Momen declared Bangladesh's position against accepting such a request from Malaysia, saying that Rohingya are not Bangladesh citizens. They are residents of Myanmar for centuries. He also called upon other countries to share the burden of Rohingya refugees instead of putting pressure solely on Bangladesh. Momen in his statement said, and I quote, "Other countries are welcome to take them instead of asking us to give shelter. We shall welcome the global leadership and organizations to relocate the persecuted 1.1 million Rohingya that are currently temporarily sheltered in Bangladesh." Earlier in April, Malaysian authorities detained 202 Rohingya refugees on a boat found similarly adrift off Langkawi. Weeks later, the Navy chased away a boat carrying 200 Rohingya refugees near the resort island over fears of the novel coronavirus. Meanwhile, Bangladesh Refugee Relief and Repatriation Commissioner Mahbub Alam Talukde reported on Tuesday the total number of COVID-19 infection in Rohingya camps tallied to 35. He added that more than 20,000 Rohingya reported as close contacts. All the infected were also placed under lockdown in their tents at the camps. Back to you, Alma.
Thank you very much, Ruby, for your updates there in Malaysia. Thank you, EBC Malaysia Bureau.
It's reporting live here in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. This is Ruby Tinawing. We live in interesting times.
Okay, let's head on over to Singapore. John Lord Cruz joins us live from Singapore. Hello, John Lord.
Hello, Alma. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, John Lord. Yes, your update for us.
Okay, here's the update for Singapore. Delivering the second of 6 national broadcasts by cabinet ministers on Singapore's post-coronavirus future, National Development Minister Lawrence Wong said on Tuesday that Singapore has to start prepare to live with the coronavirus for the long term, with people changing the way they live and companies finding ways to deliver their products. He said this adjustment cannot depend on government alone, saying that people's behavior and mindsets will be critical in the months ahead, urging them to stay disciplined and vigilant. He said that many things from urban planning to the way business is done will have to adapt to a new normal. In the speech, he gave an overview of how the virus has changed daily life here and highlighted measures to keep Singaporeans safe. For instance, contact tracing and virus testing capacity have both been increased. This allows Singapore to quickly identify contacts of COVID-19 patients and do more extensive testing among high-risk groups and wider community. The country is also looking at other ways of detecting the virus, this including testing wastewater for fragments of the virus. Singapore is 1 week into the first phase of reopening after the circuit breaker. It reported 280 new cases on Tuesday and the lowest daily number since April 11. If the virus situation remains stable, the country will move into the second phase before the end of June. More social activities will then be allowed, with most businesses resuming regular operations. He called for people to continue being socially responsible by wearing their mask, observing safe distancing measures, and upholding good personal hygiene. Mr. Wong noted that pandemic has precipitated a shift towards flexible work arrangements. These include working from home, staggered work hours, and split team arrangements. He said urban planning must cater to these demands and building designs will have to change, given what is now known about the risk of transmission in enclosed spaces. He also said that businesses will also need to find new and safer ways to deliver their products and services, such as using online platforms to reach new customers. He further added significant changes will have to be made in the construction industry, where major outbreaks occurred. Workers will be tested regularly, work sites will implement new safeguards, and new dormitories will be built. He lauded the efforts of the many individuals and businesses who have gone the extra mile for the others, such as by volunteering at dormitories or donating supplies to those in need. In his statement, he said, and I quote, "There is no guaranteed formula for success, but it is our grit and resilience, our compassion and kindness, our cohesion and strength that will see us through this crisis of our generation." Alma?
All right, thank you very much, John Lord, EBC Singapore Bureau. Thank you.
Thank you so much. This is John Lord Cruz from Singapore, reporting live. We live in interesting times.
ASEAN in Focus, we'll be right back.
Patindi ng patindi at tuloy-tuloy ang pagpapakita ng galing ng ating mga TNG aspirants. Abangan ang kanilang performances sa pinakamalaking talent competition sa buong bansa, Tagisan ng Galing.
This program is presented by SMC Infrastructure, building a better world. Sandig sugar-free white coffee, puno ng white coffee taste without the sugar, kaya lower calories. Try mo na Sandig sugar-free white coffee. Sarap ng white coffee, now sugar-free. Vet-approved NutriChocs, the only premium dog food with active boost for optimum energy and prebiotics that help strengthen immunity. Just like Catherine Bernardo, gawing listo, ganado ang fur babies niyo. Listo ganado sa NutriChocs. Magnolia Chicken Templados. Delicious, ready to cook and freshly marinated daily. Pure Foods Lunch and Meat, pure sarap for every family. Star Chunky Cheese Corned Beef, ang cheesy ng corned beef mo. Walang duda, kids can tell na #1 ang Pure Food Standard Juicy. Ang tender, ang juicy, ang sarap. Co-presented by Cooper, expert in air conditioning and electromechanical. Also engaged in structural, electrical, fire protection, plumbing, and sanitary services. Cooper, your ultimate MEPS and air conditioning solutions. Unlad Incorporated International, fight against global poverty. New San Jose Builders Incorporated. Canrib Corporation, your ventilation and air conditioning specialist. Vita Herbs Philippines Green Coffee, masarap, mabango, at healthy pa. Puerto Rico Resort and Convention Center, Cabiao, Nueva Ecija. I love Puerto Rico. In participation with Rain or Shine Elastomeric Waterproofing Paint, Matinco. R Square Variables Incorporated, CompuZell Computer Services, Saisho International Trading Corporation, DN Steel, EMAC UPB Roof Corporation.
Hey, Gretchen Ho here, and I'm a white coffee lover. Creamy kasi, and very yummy. Pero mas masarap kung hindi nakaka-guilty. Check my new discovery, Sandwich Sugar-Free White Coffee. Puno ng white coffee taste without the sugar, kaya lower calories. Try mo na! Sandwich Sugar-Free White Coffee. Sarap ng white coffee, now sugar-free.
Skyway Stages 1 and 2, the elevated toll road system project, run from a section of the South Luzon Expressway from Alabang to Magallanes, Makati. The Skyway Stage 3 is an elevated expressway connecting the South Luzon Expressway through the existing Skyway Stages 1 and 2 to the North Luzon Expressway via Balintawak. Skyway Stage 4 is an 80-kilometer mixed elevated and at-grade toll road that will connect the existing Skyway system starting from the FTI section all the way to Bulacan.
Listo at ganado ang baby ko sa vet-approved NutriChocs with active boost and prebiotics na pampalisto. Made with real meat, with essential nutrients to help them grow healthy and happy. Listo, ganado sa NutriChocs.
Ikaw lang ang star ng buhay ko. Para sa akin, perfect ka. Ibang klase ang sarap ng corned beef mo. Ang cheesy ng corned beef mo. Pag Star Chunky Cheese Corned Beef, sarap ng corned beef, inangat pa ng real cheese cubes. Kaya perfect ang sarap. Star Chunky Cheese Corned Beef.
Malacanang said the relationship between the Philippines and China is now at the renaissance stage under the leadership of President Duterte. Let's listen in.
Well, I would say that Philippine-Chinese relations is enjoying a renaissance under the administration of President Duterte, and we hope that this renaissance will lead to better relations, resolving all the disputes that we have between our two countries, increase economic ties, increase prosperity for both Philippines and China.
Presidential spokesperson Harry Roque issued a statement that the same day the two countries marked the 45th anniversary of their diplomatic relations. The diplomatic ties between the Philippines and China were established on June 9, 1975. And since the establishment of diplomatic ties, bilateral partnership between Manila and Beijing has flourished in terms of security and regional cooperation, trade, investment, agriculture, tourism, cultural and people-to-people exchanges. The celebration of the 45th year of diplomatic relations between the two nations coincides with the observance of Filipino-Chinese Friendship Day. Secretary Roque expressed hope that the Philippines' improved ties with China would also reap success for both countries. The Philippines' long-running territorial disputes with China over the resource-rich South China Sea remain unresolved. And since President Duterte assumed office in 2016, he has opted to pursue non-adversarial approach to address the maritime row with China. The Philippines and China are enjoying closer economic and trade relationship under President Duterte's watch. And China is currently the Philippines' top trading partner, the largest source of imports, and the third largest export market. China also plays a crucial role in the Duterte government's ambitious Build infrastructure program by providing financial assistance for a number of major infrastructure projects like bridges and railways. As the government is expected to further ease community quarantine measures next week, it is allowing more business establishments, including fitness and sports, as well as travel and leisure industries, to open in areas under Modified General Community Quarantine or MGCQ. In terms of rental payment arrangement in MGCQ areas, landlords and landowners can start collecting rents from their tenants whose businesses were not allowed to operate under Enhanced Community Quarantine, Modified ECQ, and GCQ. Let's listen in.
From the Department of Trade and Industry, kami po ay nagre-report sa inyo po ngayon para ibigay po sa inyo yung mga latest po pagdating po dito sa mga businesses or sectors na pinapayagan na po mag-operate. As you know po, since sa ating bansa po, marami na pong na-declare na mga modified GCQs. So ibig sabihin po nito ay halos lahat po ng negosyo ay inalaw na pong mag-open. Pati po kung maaalala ninyo, tayo po ay may 4 na classification. Category 1, 2, 3, 4. At yung Category 4, ang naiwan po yun na may mga bawal pang mag-operate under GCQ. Subalit under Modified GCQ, ito pong mga nasa Category 4 ay binubuksan na po at 50% operating capacity. So example po dito ay yung mga gyms and fitness studios and sports facilities. Under GCQ po, ang ating po mga sports facilities, mga gyms, allowed po pag ito po ay mga outdoor activities, outdoor sports. Ito po ay na-report na po ni Secretary Harry mga last week. Pero under modified GCQs, outdoor and indoor sports facilities will now be allowed to operate. So ibig sabihin po, yung mga sports activities na indoor, as long as non-contact, ay magiging papayagan na po at i-allow na po ngayon pong under MGCQ dun po sa mga over 60 provinces and cities na under modified GCQs. Of course, tayo po ay umaasa na very soon tang Metro Manila at ang ibang mga lugar ay magkakaroon na rin ng mas magandang quarantine classification tulad ng modified GCQ. Ang iba pa pong sarado under GCQ ay bubuksan din under modified GCQ. Ito po yung entertainment industries tulad po ng mga cinemas, theaters, mga karaoke bars, etc. Next chart please. Yung iba po ay mga kids amusement, archives, museums, travel agencies, other personal care services, pet grooming, internet and computer shops, at yung mga iba pang mga education support establishments. So ito po yung mga sarado under GCQ, subalit i-allow na pong magbukas under the modified GCQ. So doon po sa area na modified GCQ, pwede na rin po ito, mga activities na to at 50% operating capacity. Next chart po. Ito po siguro ay tungkol po dito sa polisiya natin sa rent. Again, nililinaw po natin, contrary to yung ibang lumabas na report na nagbago daw ang polisiya sa rent. Wala pong pagbabago. In fact, ito po ay nasa batas. Sa Bayanihan Act, ay inassure po ng ating batas na meron pong grace period doon sa mga residential rents. At ito po ay covering, ang nilinaw po sa latest memorandum circular ng DTI, this covers ECQ, pati po modified ECQ, and GCQ, General Community Quarantine. Ganon din po sa pagdating po sa commercial rents ng mga micro SMEs not permitted to operate during the community quarantine. Or ibig sabihin sila po ay na-compel magsara. Ibig sabihin hindi sila inallow mag-operate. So sila rin po would enjoy the grace period of 30 days for these micro SMEs not permitted to operate during the 3 community quarantine period. So from ECQ hanggang GCQ. Now, pag na-lift na po ang GCQ, doon na po magsisimula ang pagbilang po ng 30 days at yung unang due date after the 30-day grace period ang magiging panimulang pambayad o magbabayad yung tenant. Isa rin pong naging rule natin at pinapanatili po ito, yung na-accumulate na rents during the community quarantine, ito po ay isang lump na hindi babayaran ng isang bagsakan lang. Ang ginawa po natin para magaan ay di-divide by 6. In other words, 6 na hulugan on the months after the lifting of after the grace period, after the lifting of the community quarantine. Isa rin pong pinalabas natin, part of the yung bagong memorandum circular, ay yung pag-engganyo or to enjoin yung mga lessors. Dahil ina-expect po natin na hindi pa malakas ang balik ng mga consumers at ang market, kaya po since medyo weak pa ang demand itong mga darating na buwan, in-encourage po natin ang mga lessors na sana ay magbigay po ng concessions, ipagpatuloy ang kanilang suporta dito po sa mga micro SMEs para po either mapababa, mabigyan ng discount o kung pwede, i-waive na rin muna yung mga rents po ng mga micro SMEs. At ito po ay pwedeng gawin po nila by changing also the contract, magbigay po ng concessional terms. Yung dati pong nagcha-charge ng fixed rate plus variable rate, let's say a fixed rate of X amount plus 8% of gross sales. Ang iba po ay kung pwede ho, tanggalin na muna yung fixed rate at kumuha na lang po ng porsyento sa bawat benta po.
Malaysia said it will send back hundreds of Rohingya who arrived by boat this week after months at sea, as fears mounted that the refugees could be carrying a new wave of coronavirus. The country is a favored destination for the persecuted Muslim minority from mostly Myanmar, Buddhist Myanmar, with thousands risking their lives on perilous sea crossings every year. And they usually travel from Myanmar or Bangladesh, where about 1 million live in squalid refugee camps after fleeing a 2017 military crackdown in their homeland. But Malaysian authorities have stepped up maritime controls in recent months in a bid to prevent them from landing over fears they could be carrying the coronavirus. On Monday, however, Coast Guards allowed 269 Rohingya to come ashore after discovering them on a vessel that was too rickety to be pushed back to sea. Rights groups say the migrants set off from Bangladesh in early April and had been turned away by several Southeast Asian countries. Defense Minister Ismail Sabri Yaakob insisted Malaysia would not allow them to stay and issued a warning to others thinking of making the journey. He said they should not think that when they come, we will accept them, we will send them back. And then he said that the Foreign Ministry would talk to Bangladeshi officials about sending the latest arrivals back, adding, maybe we will ask. That they be housed at Bashan Island. He was referring to a silty strip of land in Bangladesh prone to violent and potentially deadly monsoon storms, and where hundreds of recently arrived Rohingya have been sent to. Dhaka has said they were interned there because authorities were also wary of the coronavirus. In Laos, the Ministry of Health reports 19 positive cases of COVID-19 after conducting tests on 8,607 cases. But 18 of those who tested positive have now fully recovered. Laos has been carrying out tests daily for the COVID-19 since January, with the total number of tests reaching 8,607. Laos announced its first 2 COVID-19 confirmed cases back in March 24. However, Laos on Tuesday reported 35 new confirmed cases of dengue fever and 1 more death from the disease. The highest number of dengue patients were reported in Laos capital Vientiane at 391, while 235 cases were reported in Vientiane province and 231 cases were reported in Atapu province. As of Monday, 1,676 people had been diagnosed with dengue fever. 5 deaths have been recorded. Hundreds of lychee farmers sort and grade huge piles of tropical fruit at a busy wholesale market in northern Vietnam, but many bemoan the slumping prices as foreign traders were held up in quarantine. Let's listen in.
Tức là năm nay do ảnh hưởng dịch thì thương lái Trung Quốc không thể sang là chủ yếu là bán cho trong nước mới trong nước là chủ yếu, nên là giá nó rất thấp.
Rất hy vọng rất nhiều thương lái đi để tiêu thụ cho sản phẩm của lục ngạn, làm sao cho nó tiêu thụ cho tốt. Mong sao tất cả các cửa khẩu làm sao cho nó thoát tốt rồi, lưu thông thật tốt để cho các cái nguồn vải này nó đi cho dễ.
Meanwhile, Cambodian police said they will investigate the alleged disappearance of a self-exiled Thai activist, denying any involvement in what a rights group claimed was an abduction. Pro-democracy activist Wan Chaliarm Satskit, a sharp critic of the Thai government, was dragged into a car in broad daylight last week in the Cambodian capital Phnom Penh, according to Human Rights Watch, which cited witnesses and security camera footage. The announcement came after Cambodia's Interior Ministry spokesman Q Sophiak said last week that the HRW report could be fake news. He also told AFP on Tuesday that Wan Chaliarm's 2-year visa had expired at the end of 2017 and authorities have no evidence if he left the country. Bangkok has denied any knowledge of Wan Chaliarm's whereabouts. Since a May 2014 coup, Thailand has vowed to track down pro-democracy critics, especially those accused of attacking the kingdom's unassailable monarchy. The activist is wanted by Thai authorities for allegedly breaching the Computer Crimes Act and Article 116 in the Thai Penal Code, which criminalizes writing that incites unrest. And a cafe in Kuala Lumpur is baking cakes made to recreate toilet paper rolls, a play on recent panic buying of the product triggered by coronavirus fears. Take a look.
My creation is called toilet paper roll cake, and it's made of chocolate. Basically, it's a chocolate cake, but we decorate it with a fondant to make it look similar like a tissue roll. So we saw at the news a lot of people bought a lot of toilet paper. So we think of why not making it a toilet paper roll cake. I think it's a fun idea. The base is a chocolate sponge, and the cream is chocolate cream. Then we coat with a thin layer of ganache on the outer layer and end it with a fondant decoration.
Le Pont Boulangerie et Cafe in Kuala Lumpur is now selling 3-ply toilet paper roll cakes that look exactly like the real thing. And the cafe is crafting the cakes, which have a chocolate sponge base and a cream center wrapped in a fondant icing. According to the cafe, it's a chocolate cake covered with white cream and finished with a melty chocolate filling in the center of its cardboard. Now, for everyone thinking that you'll be celebrating a boring birthday stuck at home because of the movement control order, you're in luck because these cakes could provide that extra flavor of fun. And they are accepting orders through WhatsApp and provide the same-day deliveries. 3 inches or 8 centimeters in height and costing 25 ringgit or $5.90. About 50 are sold on weekdays and 80 on weekends. And that is the latest news in and around the Southeast Asian nations. Stay updated about the ASEAN region. I'm Alma Angeles. We live in interesting times.